Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachach Wadash for the spirit to do this lesson. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. Shalom to the men of the Lord, prophesying, preaching, and teaching on the highways and byways in sincerity and in truth. Shalom Barakathum. And I want to go in on some articles, we like various news and prophecies. I was reading a couple of these headlines that stuck out to me. Through the spirit, you can kind of get a feel for what's going on in the world. As we know, we're to be the watchmen, and part of being the watchman is warning the flock, you know. I believe it speaks about that in the book of Ezekiel, that that's what we're here for, you know. It speaks about it in various different scriptures as well, too. Yes, Isaiah 62 and 6, it says, I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day nor night, yet that make mention of the Lord Jehovah, keep not silence. So that's part of what we're going into. These things that are happening in the world, the scriptures say that the day of the Lord is gonna be like a thief in the night for most people, but that most people is basically everyone outside of the elect. All right, because we're gonna have the truth, the know. We're gonna be in the know, so to speak. All right. It says there was one that I came across here. Oh yeah, it says here's why America's labor shortage will drive inflation higher. It says America's labor shortage is complex and doesn't lend itself to the simplistic expectations favored by media talking heads. The Wall Street cheerleaders extol the virtues of getting America back to work, which is Wall Street speak for getting back to exploiting workers to maximize corporate profits. And that's exactly right, man. Because nothing in this place is worth anything anymore. When they're talking about getting the economy back, they don't care about the average Joe. All right, they don't care that employment hit 20-30%. When you look at the real numbers from COVID, they don't care. They don't care if you're out of work, if you can't afford food. They just care you don't run up in their shit. All right. They want to make their profits. That's the reason they want to get the economy back. It's terrorists themselves. Isaiah 24 is a pretty good chapter to go into when you start seeing how this place gets basically get gutted out. That's what's happening to America. America's basically being looted right now. Through the spirit. This is Isaiah 24. And one, it says, Behold, the Lord Jehovah maketh the earth empty and maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof. All right. You look at stuff that's going on all across the world. You have, at the border crisis in Mexico, you have people fleeing, trying to get to America, people coming from different parts of Central, South America. A lot of those are Jakes. You got stuff going on in South Africa, and you have riots going on all across Europe. It's like that in Greece for a minute. Ukraine. People are fed up, man. It says, and it shall be as with people, so with the priest, so with the servant, as with his master, as with the maid, so with her mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the lender, so with the borrower, as with the taker of usury, so with the giver of usury to him. The land shall be utterly emptied and utterly spoiled, for the Lord Jehovah has spoken this word. All right. We see this, man. We know where this leads. And when hyperinflation sets in, get ready, man. That's all the comforts that all of the conveniences that you have in this world, in this life, that shit's gonna go, man. You know? And I pray Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, he brings this soon, because you might be attached to particular material things. You're gonna have to let that go. All right. And hell, Esau, you can have all this shit, man, as long as the Lord is coming back. And that's how you have to feel about it. brothers can read more on part of this article. When you read James 5:3, right? Or James 5:1 all the way down to 6, you know, you basically see that the monetary system of this place, it, 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 it's corrupted. And that corruption, when you have rust in a particular uh, piece of machinery or a vehicle, you know, as it's speaking about here, that's what being cankered is. It says your gold, James 5:3. I'll just read that one real quick. It says your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days. All right, when you have rust in a certain vehicle, you have to catch it before it gets to critical components, man. If the rust is almost like a cancer in a vehicle, if you don't get the rust taken care of, man, it gets to certain parts of the vehicle that are critical, or the machine or whatever it is, and then all of a sudden your car or whatever the machine is that's made of that metal, it's ruined. Okay, all right. It's very very important that you have your situation is rust proof, or that you catch it and deal with it before it spreads to critical areas of the machine. You know, and that's what America is. The whole thing is basically rusted out, man. you know, it's stiff, it's rigid, and then when that wind blows to come on this place on America, man, they're not going to be able to withstand it. Most people don't know how to feed themselves. The whole food system, it's all designed to bug people out, and Esau's gonna have his arms wide open into those camps, those FEMA camps. He's gonna have his arms wide open with that MOTB. For you brothers that know what that is, all right. It says Biden's, what, strike force plans stinks of desperation. It says if there is one rule liberty-minded people need to remember, it is that the establishment does not like losing control of the narrative, and when they do, noticeably weird things start to happen. For example, it is becoming painfully obvious that the narrative on the experimental, what type of, left hook, I'll just say that, has slipped right through the fingers of the Biden administration, and the consequence, they are now in a scramble to get millions of people, you know, with the you dig, as brothers say, in response to that, to the illness, is basically what I'm saying. And to as many skeptical arms as possible before the public organizes a full pushback against the agenda. Now, I did a lesson talking about how they're going to go into text messages. They're trying to combat misinformation. We're going to be the ones that they look at it as the problem. All right, they're going to blame this thing on us, and he's gonna make his move, man. All right, he's gonna make his move, and eventually he's gonna set up. The scriptures speak about that crafty device. All right, I believe it's spoken about in a couple scriptures. Um, one in Job and one in Psalms. Let me put in crafty real quick. See if they both come up. Yeah, they do. Uh, Job 5:12, it says, He disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. And that's what this is. This whole media thing, we're trying to combat misinformation. We're just trying to make sure you're not persuaded. People are not persuading you. Like I heard one Biden's press secretary get on and say, I heard her say this today that people are dying because of misinformation. Well, people are grown, man. People make their own decisions to do what they want to do. They're blaming the deaths of people on people who disagree with them. You have to think about what they're saying. All right, and right now they haven't fully cracked down, but they're laying the stage, and eventually they will. They're getting Americans, you Americans, to get more and more okay with them doing it. All right, they're warming you up to it. you know, and those of you who have apathy towards it that just think isn't a big deal, before you know it, they're gonna be knocking on your door. They're gonna be in your cell phone. They're gonna be blocking messages you're sending to people personally. That's where this thing is going. You know, Psalms 83:3. Now we know this is talking about Esau targeting us, the Israelites, trying to cut us off. It says they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. All right. Now we know Esau does this, man. We know this. It says the Pentagon confirms Colombian tied to assassination of Haiti president had U.S. military training. Now we knew this, man. When I first read that they took out president of Haiti, man, we already knew Esau was up to something. They tried to make it seem like it was some Haitian, which it probably was some niggas they got to do wickedness. They always could find a nigga that are down with their cause, or they'll pay them. All right, but ultimately we know this has Esau written all over it because that's his mo. He goes into other countries, he topples dictators. He'll set up a new one. All right, he sets up coups. That's his mo. I think it's America. Uh, you know, is America overthrown? I'm gonna do that one. There's a few. They were like when I first saw this, there was like dozens of countries that America had been in, man. Dozens. I don't know if this is gonna. This is a transcript of a conversation. Look, you can just pull this up. America tried to change countries 72 times. So lucky these ads are popping up everywhere. Just during the Cold War, and it's still a Cold War, man. I wonder if it's in images. Oh, this is one. Yeah, this is one of the things I was looking at. Yep, look at all these countries: Morocco, Canada, Algeria, Spain, the Cherokees, Indonesia, Ivory Coast, Mexico, three different times. Sioux, forced settlement and massacre. That's up in the Dakota area, I believe, the North and South Dakota area. Spain, Philippines, Fiji, China, Taiwan, Korea, Panama, Germany, Russia. Look, man, Iran, for sure, Iran, Cuba, Brazil, Chile, Grenada, Nicaragua. You know, they're all over the place, man, and they've never stopped. You have something called the CIA. You have something called National Security Council, the NSA. All right, that's what they do. All right, because America is a crafty uh, it's a crafty council at their very top. They don't disclose this in media, but this is what they're doing. They'll have you believe that they're all about democracy and they're trying to spread different. They're trying to spread their philosophy. They're trying to spread freedom. But really, they're a dictator, man. You know, like when you watch that show Invincible, it's on Amazon Prime. The they got what you call the Viltrumites, which is what the guy Omni Man is. When he first came, they came to say that he was there to protect them. You know, that's why they sent him there. He's here to protect you, and he's our representative here on the planet, on planet Earth, to protect you because Viltrumites are virtuous and good people. But when you find out who the Viltrumites are, they're colonizing you. You know, they sent someone there under the guise of protection, but the moment that you start to disagree with what they want, then you understand that they're an empire. You know, the real reason they're there is to rule over you, and that's how America is. You know, and Israel's going to do the same thing on the on in righteousness. Okay, on the right hand side. But overthrowing coups, man, we knew this was going to go down in Haiti. Let me get it real quick. And Habakkuk, Shalaki. Yeah, Habakkuk 1 and 6, it says, For lo, I'll raise up the Chaldeans, that bitter and hasty nation, which shall march through the breadth of the land to possess the dwelling places that are not theirs. And we saw all those countries that they went into. And now they don't physically occupy, well actually they do, because they have military bases all over the place. But they don't say it's an occupation, they just say it's there, you know, to protect American interests and to protect that country. But really we know what it is. They're occupying you, you know? But really how they're doing it is through the monetary system, through the U.S. dollar. It says to possess the dwelling places that are not theirs. They are terrible and dreadful, and their judgment and their dignity shall proceed of themselves. Their horses also are swifter than the leopards and are more fierce than the evening wolves. And that's America's military, man. It says, and their horsemen shall spread themselves, and their horsemen shall come from afar. They shall fly as the eagle that hasteth to eat. And that's been going on ever since these Esau got over here to the Americas, to the Western Hemisphere. All right, and it's been continuing to go on after he conquered this land. He's pivoting now back across to the other parts of the world. After he settled America and the Americas, he came over to South Africa to colonize that. The French and the Portuguese went to West Africa and tried to colonize that, which they were already there during the first part of the slave trade. But you know, they went to the Philippines, Australia. The bulk of Australians now, you know, are Edomites now. You know, they went to China, India. You have colonies, a British colony in India. You have British colony in Hong Kong. They're definitely in Japan. Japan is one of the largest military bases in the world. In Korea, it says, they shall come for, verse 9, they shall come all for violence. Their faces shall sup up as the east wind, and they shall gather the captivity as the sand. They shall scoff at the kings, and the princes shall be a scorn unto them. They shall deride every stronghold, for they shall heap dust and take it. Who else is this talking about, man? Who else does this fit? All right. Now you're seeing these articles that are coming out about it, and it's just confirming the scriptures, you know. You got more of this stuff going on. So, you can look through these articles. This is on blacklistednews.com. And there's another thing I want to go into. I'll do it on another lesson, you know, Lord willing. I'll, uh, I'll get that out soon. Uh, So I'll leave it there, man. So hopefully your brothers were edified. Call Allah Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakwadash, wa Abba Babal, and Shalom.